Hey everybody, this is Vince, the co-host of HBCU Original, along with another co-host, JL Williams. John, what's going on, JL?
Man,
How
all
you
is
doing? How you
well. God
doing?
bless you, man. Man, I'm excited
Yes,
about
sir. That's
today's topic. Can you hear me?
it. And we're sorry, folks out there. We've been away for a while. We've been on the road, traveling, doing a lot of conference championships, different athletic events, football from the MEAC championships, volleyball, and also cross country. So we're back on. Um, so we're here for you. But today's topic
Yeah.
is more, we wanted to hone in and discuss on the election. We haven't had a chance
Yeah.
to talk about um, and what are the outlooks for the HBCU community? What does that mean? What does it look like for
Mm.
alumni and also, African Americans in general?
Yeah.
John, what are your thoughts?
Oh man. Vince, it's unfolding each and every day. Um, as we're looking at, you know, uh the Republicans and now that they've taken over the House and the Senate, it's gonna be something. Um I'm waiting to see myself, Vince. I'm waiting to see exactly what's going on. I see a lot of stuff that is being unfolded. The border.
Mhm.
He's appointed people from the border. He just appointed a new person for what was that? The attorney general.
Mhm.
And so he has, different things that he's doing right now. He's making some moves, and so he's just posturing himself to, you know, to run the country as he sees it. So, we're still awaiting some of the things that will be released.
Mhm.
And you know what? I found out yesterday as I was over my mom's house and I was looking at CNBC and I was looking at like the that plan, that 25 plan that he says that he has nothing, he has nothing, uh, he has no connection with that. But all the people that actually put it together are people that he's appointing. So it was crazy. Like the names that are actually attached to the plan that he actually laid out, those names are of the people he's appointing right now. Right. So it's kind of ironic that, we're looking at the unfolding of this whole 25 plan. And, we're seeing already with the border how the gentleman, I can't think of his name, but he's making moves already.
Mhm.
And he's getting things in position to really, start to deport people
I want to share
back,
something too. Let
back
me
to their
share.
country.
I wanted to share, one of his videos. A lot of people don't know. You can go to from website and you can see his agenda. You can take a look at some of the things that he has, some of the videos. So there's all of the things he's planning on to do. You can
Mhm.
highlight, and I'll just play one of the ones. Let me see that if I found interesting. He's talking about homeschooling and things of that nature, um, and also, I mean, he has a lot of different things that he's planning on doing and
Yeah,
addressing. So you can go through. He has hundreds of videos, I think it is.
yeah, he loves
So
doing
these are
that.
the ones, homeschooling, which may affect,
Yeah, because he's talking about taking away the Department of Education. So all that's going to
oh yeah,
be
let me press play on this one. Let me see.
mhm. Agenda
The
47.
United States spends more money on education than any other country in the world, and yet we get the worst outcomes. We're at the bottom of every list. In total, American society pours more than $1 trillion a year into public education systems. But instead of being at the top of the list, we are literally right smack, guess what? At the bottom. Rather than indoctrinating young people with inappropriate racial, sexual, and political material, which is what we're doing now, our schools must be totally refocused to prepare our children to succeed in the world of work and in life and the world of keeping our country strong so they can grow up to be happy, prosperous, and independent citizens. We owe our children great schools that lead to great jobs and leads to an even greater country that we're living in right now. Right now, we're living in a failing nation because of Joe Biden and these people running it. They're Marxists, they're communists. What they're doing to our country is incredible, but we'll take care of that for our children. Here are 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school board to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed. Reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth, we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. Fifth, we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. Let them go out and be more successful. I will be the happiest person in the world. But we want our children to have a great life and be successful. And 10th, we will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs and careers best suited to their God-given talents. This is how we will ensure a great education for every American child. And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
And so, you know, that's one of his, you know, so let's talk about that, you know, what does that look like?
Yeah. Man, well, all of it's not bad. Let me say this, all of it's not bad because me being in the school system, and seeing, you know, in the school system and seeing our kids are not like being educated like that. Like, they really aren't. He's absolutely right about that. I mean, you know, when you look at kids that are from other countries that are coming here and they already have a mindset to excel and to take whatever it is they have to that next level. I remember when my daughter she had to get a operation on her knee. She had what they call Blount's disease, and we took her to the AI hospital, and you know, they had a doctor there that he was from another country, and you know, his just looking at his study of what it is that he was able to do, and then when he saw that there was another way to deal with it, but he had to go back to his country because his country actually had the technology, some new technology on how to deal with her situation. Do you know this man went back to his country and got the intel needed to work on Nia's leg? And man, let me tell you something, man. The education that they have in other countries medically and those things are far more advanced, I think, than what we have here. We have all the latest and greatest equipment. We got all this and that, but I mean, I think um, our system is broken, and it is going to take something else other than what we're doing right now. You know, when I see our kids working at the school I work at being suspended at an enormous rate, the behaviors are out of control, and then we don't have the adequate enough staff as far as teachers are concerned to really address the needs of our children. Our children have great, great, great needs, and we don't have the adequate staff to be able to deal with those things. And we have to have the kind of education that is more hands-on.
You know what? I think
So
I want to touch into that part you just said about the out of control. I want to play. I wanted to play one of the videos that Trump was talking about.
okay.
To piggyback off of. Hold on, let me get that video. He actually speaks about. Let me see. You know, and this is day one. He's talking about. Let me see. So let's ending crime and restore law and order.
Joe Biden and the defund the police Democrats have turned our once great cities into cesspools of bloodshed and crime. There's never been anything like it. Here's my plan to restore law and order in our cities and throughout our country, frankly. First, because police forces have been gutted by Democrats' war on police, I will sign a record investment in hiring, retention, and training for police officers nationwide. So important. This bill will also increase vital liability protections for officers because the Democrats want to take those protections away from our police because we want them to do their jobs and we want them to do their jobs right. You can't take their protections away if you're going to have them do their jobs properly. Second, to qualify for this new funding and all other Justice Department grants, I will insist that local jurisdictions return to proven common sense policing measures, such as stop and frisk. Very simple. You stop them and you frisk them. Strictly enforcing existing gun laws against convicted felons, cracking down on the open use of illegal drugs, and cooperating with ICE to get criminal aliens off our streets and get them out of our country. Third, we will go after the radical Marxist prosecutors who are abolishing cash bail, refusing to charge crimes, and surrendering our cities to violent criminals. They have surrendered like never before. I will direct the DOJ to open civil rights investigations into radical left prosecutors' offices, such as those in Chicago, LA, and San Francisco, to determine whether they have illegally engaged in race-based enforcement of the law. I will also work with Congress to give the victims of their Marxist policies the right to sue local officials for harm and suffering, and it has been great that they have caused. If your small business is pillaged because shoplifting goes unpunished, if you're brutally attacked by a violent felon released without bail or bond, then you will be entitled to massive damages. Fourth, I will order the Department of Justice, or some people call it the Department of Injustice right now, and Homeland Security dismantle every gang, street crew, and drug network in America. Every single one of them will be dismantled. We already know where these turf wars and drug dens are. We know who the people are. And we're going to charge them and charge the culprits with every crime that we can find. We're going to be fair, but we're going to be tough. We also need the death penalty for drug dealers. So important. And I'd add to that human traffickers, drug dealers and human traffickers. They get the death penalty. Watch it stop and stop quickly. Fifth, in cities where there has been a complete breakdown of law and order, where the fundamental right of our citizens are being intolerably violated. I will not hesitate to send in federal assets, including the National Guard, until safety is restored. If Nancy Pelosi would have accepted our National Guard or our soldiers, you wouldn't have had January 6th. But she and the mayor of D.C. didn't do that. Sixth, we will end the leftist takeover of school discipline and juvenile justice. Many of these carjackers and criminals are 13, 14, and 15 years old. I will order the education and justice departments to overhaul federal standards on disciplining minors. So when troubled youth are out in control, they're out on the streets and they're going wild, we will stop it. The consequences are swift, certain, and strong, and they will know that. Seventh, I will protect the right of self-defense everywhere it is under siege, and I will sign concealed carry reciprocity. Your Second Amendment does not end at the state line. In addition, I will, of course, fully secure the border, dramatically increase interior enforcement, and wage war on the cartels. We have never had a border so secure as it was just 2 years ago, and now our border is the worst anywhere in the world and possibly of all time. There's never been a country that allowed to happen what's happening in the United States right now, where millions of people are pouring across our borders. They come from mental institutions. They come from the prisons. They're all being let out so they can come into the United States. They're poisoning our country. We will also take back our streets from the homeless, the drug addicted, and the mentally ill. I will discuss those plans in much more detail very soon. That is how I will bring back public safety to America. I want to thank you. We're going to make America great again, and we're going to make America safe again. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack there.
It is. What you want to tackle first?
Well, the one thing as far as the police, is concerned, and the road cops who terrorize our communities. He did mention that and say he would go after them. We'll see about that part. We'll see about
and if he does, that's great because we need that.
It's a great thing. We definitely need that because they've been filtering through the African American community for years, and it's Hispanic as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah. We need some police that are policing the police.
There you go. That are policing the police, the ones who are out of control
because it's just out of control.
Police officers, man, they go through PTSD as well. A lot of them are suffering. From being out there. They're out there too long. So they're out in these streets too long, and they're dealing with too much, man. They're dealing with a lot of stress.
And you know what? I found out just talking to some police officers, man, it's not many of them that are out there on different shifts. Like you may think like it's a lot of cops, particularly in one location. So if you look at Wilmington, although it's a small city, there are very few cops that are out there from shift to shift. It's not as many as people may think it is. It really isn't. And I heard, I talked to some officers about that. And when I found out the truth about, like, I said, that's all that's out here, police in our city. He said, yeah, I mean, because there's such a shortage of police officers. Yeah. So hopefully the things that he's saying that he's going to put forth and, those things that will maybe attract people and give them, more benefits and things like that, that they will want to, they would want to be police officers. Because I remember at one time, when we were younger, it was honorable to be a police officer, and you had people, you had kids, and when we had like a career day or something like that, they would raise their hand and say, "I want to be a police officer. I want to be I want," and they said it with dignity, and they were proud because there were so many models, Vince, that were in our communities that were police officers that maybe lived up the street from us. And we knew, and some of the police officers that lived up the street from us was also the coach that played that was the baseball coach or the basketball coach. They
Yeah,
were,
one of my track coaches was a police officer. You
yeah.
know, I
So
also
you have,
he spoke about the youth who are out of
mhm.
control.
Oh yeah,
That
oh
needs
yeah,
to be dealt with. They are way out of control now. It's to an ultimate high. You got like he is correct. He is correct. The other day I seen in Philadelphia, 11, 12-year-old. I mean, these kids are getting guns. They're wilding out.
yeah,
They're doing
yeah.
massive internet. They're on the internet
Oh yeah, they
doing
doing all kind of stuff on the
passion
internet, man.
grabs. Um,
It's sad, man.
it's a different
And you
generation.
know, at the schools that we work at and mentor and teach at and coach, these
Yeah,
are schools that are smack dab in the inner city with a lot of the
yeah,
crime and all that kind of stuff going. I mean, these kids know the
yeah,
latest and
absolutely.
the greatest that's right
Yeah.
on the street. I mean, they know
They,
it before they know they tell us about they
and
know it
I think
before we know.
we talked about this before. They don't have a fear of death.
No, at all. They
There's no
don't.
sting of death, the sting
Mm-mm,
of going to prison or jail. You know, they
no.
don't have the sting of the police officers. There's no respect. There's no, um, so you know, they a lot of
Well,
times, you know, they don't respect their own parents. So of course they ain't gonna respect you
yeah.
in the street.
But you know what? Let me say this, Vince. A lot of times, like what I do when I'm mentoring and coaching kids, I really help. I really deal with the reality versus the idea, because the ideal of something does not manifest until it becomes a reality. So when I'm in my class and I'm dealing with, let's look at some of the consequences of the decisions that you're making. Um, so I show them, you know, youth in prison. And we have a lot of youth that are in prison that have gotten 50 and 60 years, 65
Yeah, man.
years, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And I show them, I said, now listen, you know, I said, look at this little boy. He looks like, and seriously, I said, look at this young man. If you saw this young man, just his face on TV, he looks like a little boy. He looks
Yeah.
like a little kid, like he
It's a
wouldn't hurt
travesty, man.
anybody.
It's a travesty though.
And then you look at him and see he just got sentenced to 65 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on. I said,
Man,
y'all
some of
are,
the youngest crimes, man, are
man,
what you call
listen,
it, the youngest
I tell
persons are
them,
getting.
y'all are flirting with the ideal of criminalization and looking at it as if it's something to aspire to. And
Yeah,
it is not. I said, y'all are fascinated with the ideal of something. I said, but when you
well,
get on this, but when you get on this end of it,
right.
when
It's real.
I said and look, I told him, I said, now you
Hey,
seen when that judge gave that boy 65 years, did you see how did you see the response of his mother? Did you see the
it's in the
response
but
of his
look,
family?
it's in the music
They,
though now, John.
man,
The
they
music.
was
Look, you
mom
got
and them
guys
in
like
the court, mom and them in the courtroom going crazy.
look,
I said,
you just seen the trial. They got
yeah,
Young Thug. They got and now they just arrested the other young guy, Lil Durk,
yeah,
and all you know,
right.
all of these, you know, these some of these kids listening to and looking up to, and these
And I
guys,
said, listen, here's the reality. Here's the reality. And they're painting this picture for you in hip hop that this is something to aspire to. I said,
no,
and it is
okay.
not. That is terrible. I said, that's terrible. I said, so you don't want this to be your reality. So you got to switch the way you think. The thing that
Mhm.
our t-shirt, Vince, feed your focus, starve your distractions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Feed your focus, starve your
But
distractions.
okay, so this is one of the things he needs to do as a president. Go after some of these record labels and
Mm,
airwaves and radio.
mm,
You can't play this on here. If they're promoting violence,
yeah.
death, killing, murders, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or you
Yeah,
know,
baby. You right.
or even this, John. Look, uh, a murder that may have happened. They talking about.
Yeah. Come on. Well, a lot of these, but one of the things, and now I play certain things for them, so I need them to hear what's happening. I said, do you know that the police don't even have to anymore? A lot of them have shut down forensics in their cities. You know why? I said, because what they focus on is social media, because these fools are telling on themselves. they're on social media talking about what they
Yeah.
did and all that kind of stuff. So they don't have to spend a whole lot of money and investigate. All they have to do is listen to what y'all saying on social media. I
I
said,
seen the other
don't
day,
you?
man. They showed where they did the murder at
Yeah,
on Instagram. I'm like,
on Instagram. And what happens is you don't believe. I said, here it is. You guys don't believe that they're listening to your conversation. That's the whole thing. You don't believe, oh, they ain't listening to me. They not they're they have people that are their whole sole job is to listen and to take notes for specific people that were associated with crimes, or that may have some knowledge about crimes. They look at different societal influences that may have been associated with the crime. They looking at all that, and then they're they're vetting their whole social media accounts. They're listening to everything. You don't know, or you don't believe that that's happening. So because
I know.
you don't believe it's happening, that's why you talk as much as you talk. They don't. The guys that's on there that's talking to each other on social media, I'm telling you, they do not believe that somebody is listening to that conversation.
And some of
They
this
don't
stuff
believe
is
it.
transferring from like you said, the inner cities, whatever it may be, and whatever neighborhoods to the colleges, man. Now the college kids is involved in this nonsense, man.
Look at what's happening on the
You
campuses.
know,
It's
on
unbelievable.
campuses, they got shootings,
How many murders
and
have we
and
had
murders
on
on campus, man.
campuses?
Oh,
We
it's getting
haven't
out of
had this
control,
many
man.
never had this many murders on on campuses all across the
Yeah,
country. This is crazy.
yeah, it's getting
So
crazy.
there has to be a drastic change in how we approach what's happening in our world today. There has to be a drastic change, because if not, we can't, just go along to get along and continue to do the things
Listen, they need to control
that we've been
the
doing, and
media, man. There's no
expect change to
control over
happen.
the media. There's no
Hmm.
control over the
That's what
media,
he need. You're right, Vince. You're right. They need exactly.
radio,
Mm-hmm.
TV, internet, video games, FCC. There's no control, and these
Yeah.
kids are watching whatever
Whatever. Yeah.
is in
And that's what's all.
in their head, is
Yep.
embedded in their head.
And
And
if it's
they
people that,
used to monitor that. They used to say no,
yeah.
allow that. In our time, they
Mhm.
monitored like no,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
allow
They do. But I think um, because if it didn't have a financial kickback or a financial gain, they wouldn't be allowing it. So somewhere in the system, this this stuff kicks back to the government, or kicks back to something where it's making money. Because if it wasn't making money, if it wasn't making some kind of financial impact, they would shut it down, because it wouldn't be
Yeah.
worth.
And
It
guess
wouldn't
what?
be worth.
And guess
It
what?
wouldn't be worth it.
Now that is the same thing you said. It's tying into the sports. Now
Yeah,
they're getting on the basketball court and in the football field. They fighting and carrying on. This is
yeah,
the NFL. This is
yeah.
the NBA. I'm talking about
It- it-
this ain't just college. You know what I mean? It's a lot of
we just
incidents
had
happening on college, but
didn't we just have
yeah,
an incident?
the
I
other
don't know if
day.
it was college. It was college
Listen,
or
yeah, listen. I was at the game in Townsend. I believe it was. We got it on film.
yeah.
All I was
Something he
doing.
did, and it was a star player. It wasn't no joke, no
Listen,
regular
man.
average Joe. This was a
So
guy
listen,
that is the prospect for the NFL. They watching him to bring him to the NFL.
it's
Listen,
getting crazy,
and
man.
their
The music, like
character. See,
I'm telling you. Listen, they listen to that music,
yeah,
getting hyped up. They're
see,
getting hyped up
yeah, and they
and
just
take
lose their
the
whole
football
natural
game
mind.
mentality.
Yeah,
And
they just do.
yeah, it's different, man. We're in a different era.
Yeah,
I want
you
to
know
also
what,
play.
Vince?
I want to also
One of
play
my
some
watch
films
this.
too.
Before you do that, one of my favorite quotes in dealing with character is, "You can never let your talent take you where your character won't let you stay."
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can't. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how great you are, how wonderful and grand that you are. Let me tell you something. If you allow your character to get out of pocket where you can't manage it, you will lose opportunities. You will lose so much because, like, when you look at NFL and NBA teams, they are they are now um, they're policing character so much now that it is a part of your interview process. It's not just a combine to see how many seconds you can, how fast you can run and how high you can jump, but they're looking at your character because character counts. Because what these kids need to understand that you're representing a brand,
Yep.
and and let me tell you something. If you mess my brand up, you're gonna mess my money up. You gotta understand that. You mess my brand up, you're gonna mess my money up. And I'm not, and guess what? I'm not gonna let you mess up the bag. Not my bag. You're not that. I don't care if you can jump in the basket. Listen, you're not gonna mess up my bag, and they will get rid of you. You know, they
They
made
ain't
an
got a
example.
choice, man. They ain't got
Come
no
on.
choice.
They
You
made
have
an
a choice.
example out of so many of our kids. Look at John Morant. Look at somebody, and
I
John
know.
Morant is a extraordinary player. But you see, he got his act together.
Yeah, he's showing up big real quick.
He got his act together. He doing good now because these teams have to show that I don't care how good you are, I will kick you off this team, and you will be a street ball legend in a minute because I will kick you up off. I will kick. I will kick you off. And when he came to the reality that he knew that they was not playing with him and they didn't care how good he was. See, he had see you, and it's unfortunate that our kids have to come. They have to put their hand to see if it's really hot. Now, after we done told them, if you put your hand over there, you're gonna get burnt. They don't believe that. So let me put my hand over here to see if it. I heard what he said, but let me see if it's really hot.
Hold
See,
on. I
and
want
that's
to touch base.
because we have
I want
lack.
to touch
We
on
have.
this too.
Let me say this real quick. That's because we have lack of fathers, and we have lack of mentors and coaches that will stand on character.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? They compromise character. And what you compromise to get, you compromise to keep. And so if you compromise that, you ruin the child. Because the
Oh
child
yeah.
now don't believe that you for real. So they gonna think they can do whatever they can do. Children are children. They're selfish in their own right. They chill. That's what you said. Oh, go ahead, Vince. I'm sorry. You know, I can
No,
go
no,
on and on. I love talking about stuff
no.
like
But
that.
he's speaking on about this. What you about? I mean, well, it's some of the topics in this next video. Let me press play. But he's talking about some of those things. College. This is about college and everything
For
else
many
too.
years, tuition costs at colleges and universities have been exploding. And I mean, absolutely exploding. While academics have been obsessed with indoctrinating America's youth, the time has come to reclaim our once great educational institutions from the radical left, and we will do that. Our secret weapon will be the college accreditation system. It's called accreditation for a reason. The accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally. When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics. We
Mm.
will then accept applications for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization, protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats, offering options for accelerated and low cost degrees, providing meaningful job placement and career services, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies, policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all. We are going to have real education in America. Thank you.
He's talking about in so many ways institutions, which can be probably HBCUs, but those institutions they don't practice racism. They allow Caucasian students to come in as well.
Yeah, they allow. Yeah, matter of fact, Nia and I were talking last night. She came home. She said, and she was noticing what she was saying was, she said, "Dad, there's so many Asians and Africans and so many, even Caucasians that are on our campus. I mean, they're." I said, that diversity. That's right. Beautiful.
Now he needs to talk about the big schools who practice it.
But they don't put that on the news.
Smaller schools, HBCUs, who are practicing.
Yeah, because guess what? Yeah, but I believe that there are more crimes that are committed on these big campuses, much more than it is HBCUs. But because again, here it is, the propaganda. Here it is, all this propaganda on putting on the HBCUs, trying to put us up front. And one of the things that I think that Dr. Umar Johnson had talked about, when you look at who are the real criminals. He said, how many, when you look at the real criminals, when you look at crime in our world today, we are the ones that's put out front. But when you look at the statistics, the real statistics, you see that there are, that we don't lead in crimes. But
no, we don't. We
don't lead in crime.
So far away. We're so far away.
Yeah, exactly. But they put us up front because if you would ask the average person on the street, when you look at crime, who was leading in it, they would definitely point to us because we are showcased when it comes to crime. But the reality, the statistics say that we're far from that.
Yeah,
but they want to continue to put us in this light. I don't like that.
But it's because most media outlets are in predominantly urban areas. So if you talk about ABC, CBS, and all those guys, ABC or Fox, their stations are in Philadelphia, which predominantly is African American.
Yeah.
You're talking about Washington D.C. The stations are in D.C., so they're predominantly African Americans living in the city.
Yeah.
So those things, is a reason why.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
That's happening. So it's not the fault, of the news station. I mean, that's what they're going to promote. That's what they're going to talk about. So it just happens that we live in the cities predominantly.
Yeah.
Most of the news is going to be highlighted. Now, if he was out in the county or out in the sticks somewhere in WA, whatever, then you would see what
it might be a different narrative. It might be a different narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know what? I was talking to some kids the other day, man, and I was sharing with them, we were looking at Dr. King, Medgar Evers, we were looking at some of the gladiators of our race that really truly gave their life for equality and for the benefit of their people. And the kids, you know what they said? They said, Coach, how come where they at? How come we don't have no more of them? I said, wow. I said, that's a good question. Like he said, where are those leaders that would
Yeah.
that would stand in the face of injustice, even if it meant their own life. Where they
Mhm.
at? No, they
Well,
they
John,
know they.
listen, we been here talking for days. I want to we will listen. If you are watching, listen, comment in the comment section, please. What do you think about the election? The talk. January 2nd, I believe he goes into office, right?
Yeah, right.
First day of office. Okay. What do you think? If you're out there from HBCU or alumni or just an African American in general, what are your thoughts and views of some of the things we talked about today and going forward? But hey,
And I want them, and Vince, I want them to answer that honestly, and then be able to really listen to, just like today, the different videos that we played today, but really listen to his plans and not what you hear from somebody else because they have a different narrative about him that is connected to how they feel, or they may be partial because of their party that they sort of voted for. So it could be that I'm leaning this way because I'm I because of people that are telling me this, or this particular party. You have to really look at um the things that he's putting forth. And guess what? As a president, you're not going to please everybody.
mm-mm.
You're not going to please. Barack Obama didn't please everybody. Bill Clinton didn't please everybody. I mean, when you look at Bill Clinton, he regretted putting in the three-strike law
Mm.
because there are people that are really good people that have been rehabilitated in prison and doing and have proven, based on what they've done already in the prison, that they are rehabilitated people. But because of the three-strike law, they can never get out of prison.
Nah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? So
listen.
and that's sad. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
understand. I want everybody to understand that as a president, you're not going to please everybody. Everybody's not going to be pleased, no matter if you were a Republican, you're a Democrat, whether you like the person, whether you didn't like the person, whatever the case may be. You're not going to please everybody, and you're just not. You can't.
You can't.
Yeah. So you have to,
Hey,
look
well,
at
listen. If
exactly
you,
the
if you,
policies that they're.
John, we go ahead, we gotta wrap it up real quick because we have.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So listen, if you'd like to donate, listen. Here we go.
Donate to the HBCU original cause. Help out our broadcast to continue to get out quality info to the viewers.
And if you'd like to donate, to our show, you've seen the link and everything up. So John, take us out real quick, please.
All right. Hey, listen, good day, family. Thank you for listening to us. I hope it's something that was said that really resonated with you, that you were inspired, you were informed, educated, and maybe even somewhat entertained. But we aim to please, and we hoping that, you support what it is that we're doing. And I think that, we try to put out the best content that we possibly can. But with that, we'd like you to share, subscribe, inform, tell somebody about what it is that we're doing. And hey, just be a support to the HBCU original movement. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Peace.